How's everybody doing? Let's go.
What's going on, Eddie?
How are you, bro?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right, man.
Let's see what we can do today. I took a loss earlier today and got wicked out. I entered in heavy on the trade, and I realize now that if I would have realized that the most logical stops were that large, I would have probably went in half the size to something that big, and I would have came out okay. Where did I sell at? I took a short. This morning at like I took a short here this morning, and I had my stop loss above these levels here. I had two choices, this level or this level. This was the daily break of the highs, and then I had this level, which was the 4-hour break of the highs, the hourly break of the highs. So I was like, should I add this extra 40 pips or should I just keep my stops here? But looking at the charts, I should have had my stops on the break of the daily highs, cut my stop loss in half, and I got stopped out here, and then price drove back in my direction. We had the money printer set up right here at my stop loss. Price closed with no top wick, came up, grabbed the top wick first, and then started flipping bearish. So in hindsight, the higher stop loss here on the daily break of the highs was much better. Being that close to the daily break of the highs, I'd rather have my stop loss there. Because then that would 100% invalidate my trade. If the daily breaks the highs once again, then that would invalidate my trade for real. But if we never really break the daily highs, we could still be bearish, just need more liquidity. So I figured after this push up, breaking these highs, it would have been enough. But I guess we needed another grab before coming down. So yeah, I would have, had I entered one contract less, I would have been able to hold the full stop loss. And then I would have entered my second pineapple here instead of looking for pineapples here in this section here. Because since my stop loss was here, I was looking for sooner pineapples, and I took one right here. But price never reversed on its way up here. That's just one thing that I learned today. Yeah, I was like, all right, the most logical stops is up here. It's 80, but I'm like, damn, I don't want to risk that much. Let me choose one that's a little bit closer. Instead of just going with the most logical one, I went with one that's a little bit the second most logical one. And in that case, I got burned doing so. By how many pips? 15 pips.
Yeah, but that's the thing about trading. How many times has that worked out where you had your stops where you had, you know?
Yeah, last night, not last night, Tuesday, what was it, that I streamed? It happened on stream. I was like 5 pips away from getting my stop loss hit, and then it went in profit. But, alright, let's see here. Our daily's coming down. Let's look at XAU and see what kind of daily we have here. It's the same. Eight o'clock's about to close in 30 seconds. We have no top wicks here on this hourly. we're dumping, breaking the lows. No top wicks except for this 30. So it looks like we came up, tried to create a top wick, and now we're starting to break down. How's our weekly? We have a tiny weekly candle compared to last week. And what day is today? Wednesday? Today's Thursday already. This weekly range has been trash compared to last 370 pips versus 1017 pips. This has definitely been a slow week. We're at a very strong daily level of support, but how many times are we going to respect it? 1, 2, 3, 4 times. No bottom wick closure. So our daily trend is still bearish. On the 4-hour, we're starting to form support, but still slightly bearish. This is just very strong. I don't like this area. This could have been the money printer on the hourly. I would have liked probably a steeper wick. How are you guys doing tonight? You guys catch anything today? This could be a breakout on this trend line here if you guys trade trend lines. So I'm just trying to identify the trend here and see, are we starting to reverse on the trend, or are we starting to, what's going on here? Do we need more liquidity before it drive down? This is how I got stuck in sells this morning. I took a same setup like this with no bottom wick, and then price was scooping still, so I anticipated a steeper push down to grab more orders before coming up, but price didn't necessarily do that. So yeah, I was looking for the price to tap. This was the exact same setup I took this morning. The exact same loss that I took this morning. I was looking for price to come down steeper to somewhere like right here or like right here or something like that. So that way when I took the rebreak of the lows, I would be able to catch like 20 pips before it reversed. So let's see. We're at a very strong level. We've already respected here. We've respected here. We tried to make a drive up here on this level. Right? We rejected and we tried to make a drive up and failed. So now maybe this is where we're grabbing orders to do so. So on the hourly, we're rejecting off of this to the T. Our first pullback on this drive up is right here, and it looks like we're starting to, we can either make this resistance and fill this wick down or turn it into support and start flipping up. This week, we've been doji. No direction. Just frozen right here. Nice options. Yeah, I'm looking to see if this is going to be our daily low before a continuation up, because that's the same setup that I took this morning. Today is December 5th at 7:30. This was the setup that I took. I took a rebreak of the low here. Oh, sorry, I took a rebreak of this low. And this is all that I saw in profit, when ideally my entry should have been somewhere here, which would have been 14 pips. But this is the same thing that we're getting right now. Price is starting to reject to the downside after grabbing orders. We're starting to come down. It's starting to drive pretty fast down because we didn't close properly underneath this level on the 15-minute time frame without a bottom wick. That's the exact same thing that's happening right here. So it looks like here we did get that push down. See? So it's just probability, man. It's just probability, because this same setup is happening here. And here we did get that push down for 21 pips, whereas we didn't get it this morning. So I want to be very careful here. Yeah, we still closed respecting here. We kind of closed below. It's not good enough below. Let's see. What can we get here? If this was underneath this, I would have taken a rebreak of the low, because this happened respecting this. The sell probability is much less for me. We just plummeted straight down. Hourly top wick. 4 hour has a top wick, broke the previous 4 hour high and is now coming down. Where's our next strongest level? It's probably like right here. We just had no bottom wick. If we would have had a bottom wick here, we could have taken a fill of the wick down. If this would have closed a little bit below. So let's not get any FOMO here. Let's stick to the plan. I have to add pips to the stream record. The final NAS trade that I took on stream, I closed it for 15 pips. So I ended the stream up plus 2 pips. Jeez, clean. All right. This is the weekly low. Very strong support here. I don't want to take sells here. It's tough because this is the weekly low, right? If we start breaking down and we start pushing past the weekly low, we have clean traffic down here for 500 pips. So we really have to be very wary with what happens right here because we could either reject to the upside and and start flipping, breaking the daily highs, making a nice, beautiful bottom wick to start pushing up. Or we're going to start breaking down below these ranges. So you have to be very careful. You can't take some sells into here to fill these wicks, but it's just there's way too much traffic here, here, here for me to attempt to sell in this level here. Yeah, this is my setup is forming, right? Yeah, that was my setup right there. My setup formed, but because we're at this support, man, I'm scared of selling here, especially with the way we close, respecting all these levels here. Yeah, I was gonna say let's set a sell stop right here on the break of this low because we had this same formation happen right here below this level of support on the 1 minute. But because this is a weekly low, I'm not willing to sell into a weekly low. So even though the setup is forming, you have to take the market context into consideration because we're at a weekly level. So yes, I could have got 50 pips there, but that was 1 in a million, you know? What up, Chamo? Beautiful trade, bro. 75 pips. That's nice. Yeah, we had a nice scoop here, but we weren't having any closures to my liking. See, I was waiting for this setup to happen, right? I was waiting for us to get this volume pushed to the downside, a closure below this range, this to form, and then I can take a sell down, break even by this level. But this just formed a little bit too high for me. We have a 15-minute closure coming up here. The 15-minute will be closing massively bearish below all these ranges. We have a mini range here. Hey, drop a like, everybody. I appreciate every single one of you guys for showing up. 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Let's see what happens here. What did we do on the 1 minute last time we were at this level? We came down, we started to form some support. We really consolidated for a little bit. And this was pre-Asian, and then we had this push an hour ago, last time on November 24th. So, let's see. It's way for this to catch up and us to start actually scooping the other way. You know what I mean? Let's confirm that we're starting to confirm support here. If we're not confirming support here, then we can possibly look for sells if we start closing below here. But if we're respecting this, then we can look for some buys coming up because this is a very strong level. I would like to see the SMA start to come up and start to get a little closer. Yeah, these drops are moves that you can anticipate, but you have to. It's like what Wick said. Like he could see a trade that has a 70% probability of playing out for him, but he would rather wait for the 80 or 90% probability trade, right? So it's the same concept. Like yes, this trade could have played out because we kind of did close a little bit below the support here, but because it wasn't a clear closure below, the probability for me wasn't the same. So yes, this was a probably like a 70% probability trade, but I'm looking for that for an 80%. I'm looking for as much confirmation as I can to know that price is going to drive in the direction that I want. So as much as I want that 80%, not always do I get it. Sometimes because of FOMO or whatnot, I start to feel like I want to enter a trade, or like that's good enough. Like I think that's what I said this morning. That 15-minute bottom wick is good enough, and it was not good enough. So we just had a 15-minute closure. Did we close below these levels here? We didn't. We're starting to respect here. We don't have any 5-minute support. We only have support on the 1 minute here. We only have support on the 1 minute. You don't want to get faked out with this push to the upside and then price come down, re-break the daily lows. Now, if in any case price comes down, retest the daily lows, and then starts flipping bullish again, then how you doing, SL? Then I will be looking for immediate buys, right? But I would like to see some support being formed here before I can take any continuation up. Our break even would likely be here, and we have 70 pip range. So let's hope we can get some sort of pullback here so that I can then take the break of the high flip up. Let's see. Oh yeah, so we were talking about how I was gonna set a sell stop on the break of these lows right here. Um, but because we were at the weekly level, I was hesitant because we could literally reverse at any second. And as soon as I said that, price dumps 56 pips. I feel you, Terpy. I wanted to sell here, and I also wanted to sell here. So these are two sells that didn't quite set up for me. 70 pips and 50 pips, 130 pips within 4 minutes. So we're starting to pull back. 18, 3 minutes left for this 5-minute closure. Let's see what we can get here. Yeah, I feel you. And I started the day off with a loss. So I lowered my lot size, and to make the loss back I now have to make more pips. But let's say I would have caught 170 pips right now, I would have made the loss back all tonight. So that's just shit that happens. We got 1 minute for this 5-minute closure. A break of this high might not be a bad trade, right? With damn, stop loss would probably be large, like down here. So if price does break that high, that's 120 pips for a stop loss. Yeah, I don't want to use that. I want to double confirm that this is a support here. So even though this breaks the high and it starts driving, we could take an attempt there. We got 15 seconds here. Damn, it's gonna close 5-minute no top wick if we do drive now. Damn, that was the push I wanted to be in. I wanted to be in here right now. No top wick. Well, let's see what happens here. Let's see if we can get some more confirmation. We're starting to scoop on the 1 minute. I wanted to be in this push really badly. But no top wick on the 5, so I cannot. What did we do? We came down, we retested the low, and we failed to drive. Now this 5 is coming down, trying to attempt the same thing. We are scooping on the 1 minute, but we have no wicks to fill. Let's just be patient here. I don't want to FOMO into a trade. We start getting a 5-minute closure above. We start getting some structure forming here. Maybe the SMA starts to scoop on the 5. Our daily SMA is all the way up here, right? It's far. We don't have a top wick on the daily. We're starting to flip now on this weekly level to come up and create a top wick for the daily likely. Damn, that would have been a 20 pip move. Let's start getting some pullbacks here. And get some proper closures with proper wicks. You guys seen the new thumbnail? Let me know if you fuck with it or not. Yeah, and I have zero expectations for the stream. Zero expectations for the charts. When I see my setup, I take it. When I don't see my setup, I don't take it. If I'm not seeing it, I'm not taking it. So now that we've created range, we're scooping. This 5 still hasn't caught up yet. Where do we wick off of? I blew the top one challenge yesterday. Oh no, not like, sorry, challenge, competition. That's what I blew yesterday. Why are you forming so ugly? Yeah, what's it called? What was I gonna say? On the competition, I was 118th place. I got up to 27th place. And then I realized what the number one guys were doing. On Forex, you have 1 to 50 leverage, but on futures, you only have, you only have 1 to 10 on futures. On metals and indices, you only have 1 to 10, right? So we're over here taking 3 lots, and these guys are over here opening 50 lots. So the reason they're at 50% profit in 3 days is because they're opening up 45 lots, right? And the day to open up 45 lots was Sunday market open, was Monday morning, right? When we just had a beautiful ranging days where the day just completely went one direction and didn't come back the other way. So I said, okay, let me test and see if I can open up a 45 lot. And I could. I opened up a 45 lot. So I opened up a couple of them a couple times, and I didn't calculate any pips. I just said, fuck it. I don't give a shit. These guys are already way ahead of me. And in order for me to place top 20 to move on to the next one, I needed to get like 20%. And I was at 10%. And I was pushing it. So I wasn't going to... We're about to have a 30-minute closure. The 30 minutes going to close bearish, but this 15 might close for me some support. So let's see if we can get a pullback on the 15 or if it'll just drive all in one scoop. Bitcoin dropped 10,000 points. Just know, whoever dumped here, who the fuck sold $1 billion in their pocket? Who the fuck put $100 million in their pocket? Who the fuck is this whale? That's a whale. What else could it be besides a bank just taking a dump and shitting on everybody, saying, ha, you fucking losers. And then it went right back up, and it's gonna go, dumbass, whoever sold. Whoever sold, you did nothing, buddy. It went right back. I feel bad for you, son. You sold all your shares. It's like all the Dogecoin people and all those meme coins where people are like, oh yeah, I sold, I made 20 grand, and then a year later the coin is worth so much they could have had like 20 billion. And I'm like, well, you're shit out of luck, bro. That's the life you chose. Well, it depends, bro. A few billion? Is that enough to... It is enough. It's more than enough. Are we gonna push before the closure, like before? The last 30 seconds before the closure? Because that's what we did here. We pushed the last 30 seconds before the closure and we closed no top wick on the 5. And then the next one started ranging, right? But this is a 15 minute that's going to be closing right now in 15 seconds. So I want to see this 15-minute come down, grab a bottom wick, and the bottom wick could likely be anywhere here. I would like a steep bottom wick. We're starting to cross over on the 1 minute. So let's see if we can get a bottom wick, a retest of the low. So we have the top wick that we need. So we're creating a top wick here first. It's starting to drive up first. So this is the break of the high that I wanted if we had a bottom wick. If we had a bottom wick on that 15, this is the break of the high that I would have been looking for. So it looks like we're not going to be giving me a setup 3 times in a row. I actually feel a lot less annoyed than I would be normally. Watching price go in the direction that I want it to go to, the setup forming 90% of the way, and me just needing one bottom wick and a flip before the entry, and it not doing so. Patience, patience, patience. I have a screen saver that says patience pays. Yeah, I wanted to take a buyer down here and then right here. But just that no bottom wick on the 15. I cannot. The no top wick here. I cannot. I cannot. I cannot. Now, we had this 30 closure, right? This 30 is coming up to try to grab a bottom wick. If we hit this area where I wanted my break-even point to be from my entry down here, which, homie, that's 79 pips to be break-even. We got to be careful. We could literally be selling off that level. So we got to be very careful with the way that we're forming. See, every time that price drove off of here, we had wicks. We had wicks, right? And then we didn't have a bottom wick here on this one. This was at 5 in the morning, a nice push, and a 30-minute push. Let's see what happened on the 15-minute here. Yeah, so even then the next candle came down pretty close and then flipped. So we gotta be careful. No, I didn't see a setup for me to catch the buys. I mean, this could have been the money printer setup. But at this point, that would have been still a little kind of close. That would have been the first 5-minute closure that was closing with no top wick. And then it would have drove 18 pips. You would have likely went break even. And it would have stopped you out on the next wick and then drove. So yeah, even if I would have taken the money printer here, if you didn't secure anything at 20 pips, that would have stopped you out break even. Yeah, I feel you, bro. I feel you 100%. I feel you. If we get a closure like this above, a bottom wick to these areas here, and then a flip bullish, I'll look for more buys. something like that. That will give my 15-minute a bottom wick. That'll be a retest of this area here, maybe a retest down here. That would make the most sense. We do have the money printer kind of showing up here, but I don't want this trickle up without a bottom wick here and without price coming back down to retest the bottom wick here. Yeah, I feel you. I'm low-key salty that price is just driving, giving me 90% of the setup that I'm looking for without the full confluence, right? So then that's, see, another bottom wick, no closure. So those are times where you start to think, damn, if I'm just right on my bias, why not just take an entry if I'm right on the bias? But the entry type is what gives you the confidence that the trade is going to go in the right direction, right? Your entry type forming along with your bias and your analysis being correct is what gives you the full confidence, and that's how you're able to manage risk and give some logic and some sense to your trade. Just because you're saying, oh yeah, it looks like it's rejecting this area that we're probably going to come up to create a top wick for this 30-minute, how do you know that that's going to happen without some logic behind it? And with the proper bottom wicks, just look at how price drives, bro. It's just makes sense. Price drives down, creates that pullback where you get those wicks, and then price drives down. You see, price drives, you get those wicks, and then price drives down. You get those wicks, drive down. That's what we're looking for. We want price to form these kinds of wicks here and then to drive. When you're not forming those wicks and you're getting no bottom wick, no top wick here, this is ugly, an ugly drive. On the 1 minute, it does look clean, but you don't want to go off 1 minute structure only. You want to go off higher time frame structure as well. And if the 1 minute can look like this, and if the 1 minute can look like this with the wicks, it can look like, where's another good example? It can look like this where it's giving us the wicks that we want before the drive down, then there's no reason why you should be settling for no wicks. See, if price would have came down, grabbed the bottom wick for this, and then flipped bullish, I would have entered buys. If it would have came down, grabbed the bottom wick for this, and then flipped bullish, I would have entered buys. If this candle here would have had a larger top wick, I would have entered buys on the flip of this 5 minute candle bullish. But we didn't do so. And now that our 30-minute still has no top wick, we have to see, okay, we're extremely bearish, so could this be a top wick for the 30-minute before a flip bearish? If the 30-minute, if the 15 closes below and leaves a wick, the money printer is setting up to grab liquidity. Yes. Yep. Yeah, I could have had many entries here as long if we would have just had a wick. I wonder if we're gonna fill up this whole range now. Yeah, I agree. Damn, it looks like it's happening to all of us. Like we're all waiting for the proper entry type and it's not showing up. But if we are to be bullish, unless there's just massive orders like this that's going to retrace this whole 200 pip move, if we are bullish, normally we would get a higher time frame closure like this. We would get a pullback to maybe this level here on the 5 and then a drive up. Price doesn't just V right off this level, right? When you look at here, you actually did have a V off that level, but then price consolidated, pulled back like we wanted, and then drove up. When you had it off here, you didn't have that like V push up that we're having right now. So be very wary of these kinds of reversal pushes. I mean, they could just mean that they're super strong and you can just take the buy all the way up, knowing that this is just a strong, super strong reversal. That if price drove down like this and rejected like this perfectly off a level, that you're fine with just taking buys all the way up. Some people think like that. But instead of just putting it like that, I want to see candles form. I want to see bottom wicks. I want to see structure form, right? I think this is an ICT trade with your FVG right here, price breaking above, retesting, and then driving up. They would have taken an entry here with a stop loss below the FVG. See, I know how you ICT people trade. I know how you ICT people trade. And it's the same shit that we're looking for, bud. Look, an ICT would have looked for the FVG here. Price displaced the low. Broke structure to the upside. Retraced, tapped the FVG, and is now breaking up. They would have taken an entry here with their stop loss down here. Their little 4-pip stop. I don't trade ICT, but I can identify ICT. So we only had a 30-minute closure below. Only a 30-minute closure below these levels. We did come down, tap, and then flip. Oh, we didn't. We just filled the whole fucking range. And we didn't come down to fill the wick before flipping bullish, which is sketchy. Oh, my bad. Is this the trend line that you have options? That looks like something you would have. Thank you, my bro. I was muted. And now we're rejecting it to the T. If we start to re-break these lows, what do we have? A 15-minute closure now? But I mean, this could be the money printer to the downside. So you got to be very careful. Very careful. Let's see. We're starting to... We need to come down first. Come down. Create a bottom wick here. Come down as steep as you want and then flip bullish. Come down. Baby, come down. Some sells there wouldn't be too bad. But with the way the 5-minute is forming up, that the 5 minutes telling me the opposite thing, or sorry, the 15 is telling me the opposite thing, that we're bullish, that we're about to come down, grab a bottom wick to flip bullish. We're starting to form higher highs and higher lows on the 5-minute time frame. We're doing the same thing on the 1 minute. We've already scooped and we started following the trend line. This is our first minor fake out here. So sells for me are a little difficult. That trend line was clean, so I just have to see what happens here. I'm getting these 3 time frames telling me bearish, and then these 3 telling me bullish. So I have to be a little careful here. Now, if we do flip bearish, getting the bottom wick for the 30, grabbing the bottom wick here for the 15-minute, and then we flip bullish, that would be a nice bearish 30-minute candle with the bottom wick. The 30-minute would flip bullish. The 15 would flip breaking the high here, creating a bullish 30-minute, which would indicate a support being formed here, and then we can take a continuation up. But sells here don't look bad, but this 15 has no top wick. Again, no top wick, so I cannot take a sell there. Unless you're trading like that options off of like reaction levels. Trading off of reaction levels like that, you really got to be spot on with the entry. You got to be really spot on with the entries to avoid things like this. The thing with trading off of levels is that you don't need to wait for wicks. You can just take the entries. Yeah, you've broken the 30-minute low. The 30-minute is driving bearish. It's 19 pips, 20 pips in profit there. Should be break even by now, right? I'm going to attempt some buys here. With my stops on the rebreak of the daily lows. My break-even point is going to be here on the 15-minute flip. My entry should have been down here on the money printer. That's I'm anticipating that's where the bottom wick is going to be for the 15-minute. And we're going to go break even here. And let's see if we don't get stopped out break even here and have it drive. That was 16 pips that I saw there. If we do get stopped out here, I will be looking for re-entries probably on the flip of the 15 or on the 30, to be honest. If this pulls back again and stops me out, I'll have a buy stop here on the flip of that. Because we kind of did tap the SMA, so you might see some slight pullback here. But that might just be creating some support to then re-break the high, which would be that 30-minute high. And then that would give us the push. I saw 16 pips. I would have probably closed. But let's see here. Let's see if we don't get stopped out. If we do, I'll set up another buy stop, because that just looks too clean. Break even there. That was 17 pips though. That wasn't bad. I think it ran for like 20 pips. Yeah, I think I'm going to add an extra on this. Not stack, but just add one more. I think that's a solid trade. Especially if this starts to re-break the highs here. We start to get that flip. We've respected this level here. We formed a double bottom here. We start to get that push. We have plenty of room. Nice. Yeah, I wanted to close there. But I gave it a little bit more room. My entry should have been lower. My entry should have been here. Once I saw that we closed here with no bottom wick respecting this, and we had that initial first push up, it should have been an impulse entry here, respecting this as where the bottom wick for that 15 would be. It didn't technically flip yet. Right, it was close to flipping. What's up, Spaceman? Huh. We attempted to make a high, failed to flip, and now we're flipping bearish. What are we doing here? What's this 5 minute doing? We might be setting up to scoop on the 5. We have 5 minutes left for this hourly closure, which would be bearish. 30 minute would be bearish. 15 minute no top wick after creating a bottom wick for this candle. So we can have the same situation where we come up, create a top wick, and then flip bearish to continue down. So we're having mixed signals here from the markets tonight. So I'm going to wait for this hourly closure and see what the beat is. are we doing here? We're closing below, back in range. I mean, we've respected that level twice already. Hourly, what are we doing here? We've respected this level twice. But for this to flip on the last 15 minutes, on the last 5 of the hourly, we're scooping. We're starting to form a scoop on the 5-minute, but we don't have a bottom wick here. We just respected this level extremely hard. We do have a bottom wick on the 30, the 15, the hourly. I'm not taking that same flip anymore. I cannot. But everybody drop a like, gang. Drop a like, please. I appreciate you. 26 viewers, bro. That's my peak. That is peak viewers. Let me hit one for you guys. I mean, this was a banger trade, right? This was technically a scalp, but my break-even point was a little bit higher. And I wanted that 15 to flip, and we gave it a good attempt. That 15 almost flipped. That was pretty close. Pretty close. If you caught anything in here, I mean, where my entry was kind of late, but there was a full 30 pip move in there. All right, so we're looks like we might be coming down here. Another rip. Nice. Yeah, on my entry, it was pushing as I entered, so I market executed and my entry was late, and then since my spreads and my entry, I only saw 16 pips. I think I saw, maybe it went a little bit more, but my stop block, my break even was hiding the pips, which is good. I'm not worried about how many pips I catch. I'm trading from level to level. I switched everything to pips because the money was fucking with me. That blinker though. Let's see. Bro, tell me how I uploaded an entire video, right? And I thought it was me talking, and I edited it. I spent like an hour editing the video. And when I go to upload on YouTube, I clicked the wrong clip. And this whole month, it's been 15 days since the video's been uploaded, and I've been thinking, why are the views so low compared to my other videos on this one? What the fuck? Is my video blocked or something? I click on the video, bro, and it's a completely different clip of me just not saying anything. It's a clip that I cut out of the original that was just me not talking, and I uploaded the one of me not talking, and it was up there for 2 weeks. Now I don't know where the other video is, because I deleted all the clips. Because I was like, alright, it's already on YouTube. We got an hourly closure. It's coming down with the bottom wick first. The 15-minute has respected the support here. We're still respecting the support. We kind of have the money printer here, but I want a steeper wick. Steeper wick, steeper wick, steeper wick. At least to here. Give me a steeper wick, please. Steeper, don't flip. Steeper, steeper. Please, please, please. It's scooping. The scoop is too early. It might not. It might go without us. Would it be impulsive to enter? It's a big ass range. Holy shit. I mean, we would have to be scooping here on the 1 minute. The 5 would have to complete the scoop. It's not looking good. It can drive up, you know, but it's just not looking clean. I mean, the money printer here, the wick isn't steep enough. And then even this 1 minute level for me is not steep enough. I mean, you could say that's close enough. And then just kind of wing it since we're close to the daily lows. But the stop loss is 70 pips down to the bottom. We're in a massive 1 minute range. This range is just massive for fucking 2, 3 15-minute candles. Very, very massive. Just do the top-down analysis looking down from all the time frames. So you're looking down at your daily, and your daily's bearish. You don't have much of a top wick though. Your 4 hour created a top wick for the previous 4 hour, and it came down to fill the entire range and broke all the lows. The only low that it respected, it didn't even respect it, it broke it. It was this low down here. So I guess we can mark that level out. But we completely just plummeted all the way down. We looked down at the hourly, and our hourly closed below all these ranges, but we did fill the range as the hourly closed. So that's one thing to keep in mind. We did fill the range. So if we would have closed below and stayed somewhere like right here, we could have maybe continued more sells easier, because we still haven't filled the range and would have had a range to fill. But in this case, we have filled the range already. Not all the way, but we filled a big portion of the range. Like 80% of the range. So hourly is bearish. 30-minute is still bearish. 15-minute, we started to form a resistance here, respecting the previous support. So we are creating lower lows and lower highs. So be careful, careful, careful with the buys. Yes, on the smaller time frame, the 1 minute, everything else looks like we're coming up. Even the 15-minute, 5, and the 1. But from the daily all the way down to the 30, which are the more important time frames, it doesn't look so. So we've scooped on the 5-minute here. Normally a scoop should give us a massive push. Yeah, it's looking very wild, so we have to give it a shot. That's why this was the candle that we were in. As soon as we got stopped out break even, we knew the momentum was over for a continuation. That's why we went break even. The potential was too high for me to close the trade there, right? After rejecting from these lows here, which is basically almost retesting the daily low, we're retesting the first support off the drive off the daily low, right? The first support formed off this push where we respected this resistance and we turned it into a support. So that level was very important. That's why I took a small money printer play based off this level. The entry should have been much lower, but there was no time to take a buy stop there. But now that we're trickling up and down like this, the volume is starting to die down. So even though these 1 minute candles are still huge, like these 1 minute candles are 15, 20 pips. They're still huge. I remember back in 2020 when I was yeah, dude, the daily low is the possible stop loss, and that's 70 pips. That's pretty big. And the next level below that is down here. So if you were to choose the next level to give yourself room, you're looking at 120 pips of drawdown, which is could be possible. I mean, I'm using low risk, right? But I don't want to risk that much. So we had an attempt to break out here, right? We broke the trend, we came down, we're retesting the trend line, and now we're driving up again. So trend line traders, that's for you guys. This is a massive gap here. Massive bearish block here. But we're scooping on the 1 minute. We're scooping on the 5 minute. We could get a push here to the upside. We're starting to come up here off the 15. It's just this barely any bottom wick here. No bottom wick. Shit bottom wick. These are the trades that I'm talking about that have like a 70% chance of playing out, where if you're managing risk hard enough, you can likely get a good outcome. Like here, right? This is probably like a 70% win rate trade. I managed risk pretty heavily. I sold 2 contracts here. This could be another one of those re-breaks of the highs. You could have a buy stop here on the push here on the 5 minute break of this level for the scoop. But this would be your break even point, which would be 7 pips away. So there's not much room. I'd rather close back above this level here and then get an entry where I have like 30 pips before a break even point. And now if we do drive and fill the full 30 pips of range, I'll be primed for a good entry out here. I mean, we're now getting a double bottom here, so let's be patient. That's 2 rejections off this level. The 5 is scooping. So yeah, it looks like we came down. We closed no bottom wick, but the next candle did come down to grab some orders. So let's see here. So the 4 hour I'm looking at is the one on futures. So the one on Forex, the 4 hour is now flipping bullish, but with no bottom wick on the 4 hour, right? The 4 hour closed below. We have the same 4 hour. No, actually my 4 hour hasn't closed yet. But that's even damn, it's even worse here. So we had a 4-hour closure below the range, right? 4-hour closure below the range. Price is coming up to grab a top wick. Where could it grab a top wick before it comes down? This is a good level right here where price can grab a top wick on over there to come down, 26.24. So you could have some entries up to 26.24, which for me lines up with here for a top wick on this hourly before coming down. So it's the same concept. My hourly is closing below. I have more liquidity grabs down here than Forex does. I think Forex, these are wicks and there's a support here. So those are just the minor differences between Forex and futures. So knowing that that could be the 4-hour top wick where I marked it up over here, let's look at the time frame. You see how we've rejected it. So maybe price won't come up to fill this and it'll reject and come down and start breaking the lows. See, so we tapped it to the T and we're coming up with no wicks here on the 15. I mean, we have some nice wicks here on Forex here. I could have maybe taken that trade here. Maybe I could have looked at both charts. But I'm sticking to my futures chart and it looks similar, but my wicks are a little smaller. So it is what it is. So with that 5-minute scoop, the break of the high, how many pips has that given us? 20 pips. That's just ugly. Let's see. Yeah, it 100% is a historic low, so I'm just looking for the proper entry here, man. I'm looking for the proper entry because stop losses are just fucking huge. 80, 90 pip stop losses to the break of the lows. Without the lower time frame aligning with the higher time frame, managing risk is hard. When all the time frames are aligning, managing risk is easy, right? Even if it's going against you, but all the time frames are aligning, it's structured, right? So you have proper ways to take an entry and draw down and get out. So, but when it's like choppy, it's tough. See, like, knowing that this is a historic 4-hour low, hourly low, everything is a low. We have 47 minutes now before the closure here. If we do stay above this area and stay below or stay closing above these areas, this is a major. Oh, let me write this down. Damn, I type like a dumbass. So this is a major 4-hour support here, right? So if we stay below this, I can contemplate more sells, right? But if we stay above it, then I'll be able to look for more buys. But we got to get a higher time frame closure here. We're not getting any bottom wicks. This is just ugly price action. We could be getting a money printer set up here for some sells, but where is it tapping on the 1 minute? I don't trade FVGs, but this is an FVG that I tapped. But I don't trade that shit. We're still scooping here on the SMA. So let's see if we're staying below this 4-hour support. This could be the top wick for the hourly and the 4-hour to push down. What do we have here? 1 minute for the 15 closure. The 15 closure would be closing respecting here. So if this 15 closes respecting here, right? And we get some sort of top wick into this area, I'll take a flip down for some sells. But our 15 has to stay below. I mean, this could have been the entry there, but we have 30 seconds for a 15 closure. Yeah. You just got to be patient. When all the time frames aren't aligning, you just have to be patient, especially with stop losses this big. If it was like my Asian session on Monday where my daily low was like 50 pips away, we were trading the daily range and trading bouncing between the top and the bottom of the daily range. within a 50 pip range. So that's clean. You know what I mean? But this is a massive range. You have to be very careful. So we have respected. Give me a top wick and then flip bearish. Top wick and then flip bearish. Top, then flip bearish, and I would take a sell stop. So basing it off the higher time frame, our hourly is going to need a bottom wick at some point. We've been rejecting these levels coming down after a massive push down. So after grabbing orders here and not driving, grabbing orders here and not driving, that tells me that we have a high probability of coming down to grab more orders in this area before a push up. So how can you anticipate a push, an entry to the downside? That's when you start looking at the lower time frame. You now know that we've created a resistance here, right? When you created that resistance there, you look at the 15-minute time frame and you've respected the 15-minute resistance. So now if you get a top wick into this area and then a flip bearish again, you know that you are respecting this area as a resistance, and price is going to come down to likely fill this range to the downside before flipping bullish or to create a bottom wick, right? So if you take an entry, you have 26 pips before the bottom of the range here. So you have some room here, and your stops would likely be the rebreak of these highs, because if you do rebreak all of these highs here, price is probably going to come up and fill the range, respecting this as a support. So those are two scenarios that could happen, which is why it's important to see if we come up to reject this area first, or we come down to reject off this area first. So both scenarios could play out right now. So that's why you have to be extra careful on the confirmation. So we are creating a higher low, but we just created a lower high here by respecting this resistance. So not everything is lining up properly here. What's up, Pip Doctor? And if I didn't have a business during the day, bro, I would be doing much more breakdowns like the Pip Doctor does. I like those breakdowns and the way that you do shit, bro. That's pretty cool. Um my business takes a lot of my time, so I have to do my trading at 6 in the morning to like 8 before I head over to work. And then when I get off at 5 or 6 and I start trading at like 7 to 10. But I'm hoping that when I start making a little bit more money trading, that it'll be enough to cut back some hours at work and not have to work as much. Yeah. In the meantime, it would take a lot of money trading for me to quit my job, because if I'm making the exact same as my job, I would like to still double up and make double the income and just ball out. I'm fucking young. I have plenty of time, you know what I mean? To stack up bread, and then eventually cut back on the job slowly. And then, I mean, I'll never quit my job because I'm in sales. So going to an hour appointment and making a large sale is pretty easy. They might just drop 15 viewers because of this choppy ass market. It'd be like that. It'd be like that. Literally, I don't think anybody has caught anything more than like 10, 15 pips in this push here, unless it was this initial push down during the market open. Yeah, I'm trying to be a little more fundamental with my analysis. I've been researching a little bit more of the fundamentals to be up to date with how the fundamentals move the market, because I'm pretty sure this was a fundamental move that just pushed this without a daily top wick for 200 pips before market even opened. You know what I mean? Have a good night, brother. So this could be the rejection area, right? In order to confirm it, we need to start seeing higher time frames starting to respect it. We have the 15-minute respecting this. We have the time frame starting to close back above, but we have a strong resistance here as well. A support turn to resistance, right? Let's move it up a little bit. And what do you see here? We're respecting it. So not only are we respecting a support, we're respecting a strong resistance. So what does that tell me? It tells me that price is stuck in this range here right now. And you can take trades in this range by taking bounces off support, bounces off resistance, and that's exactly what I did here on this push up, right? A bounce off this this level here. So in order to really know, we either have to break this daily low or break this 4-hour high right here. So in order to catch a trade in here, now that we have this chop here, it's more difficult, right? Since we came up and we respected that resistance, this could have been your sell to the downside, right? And when we came down and we respected this zone here, this is the, I like to draw these zones because they're often very important. So you see price drives down, right? And creates a support. You see how we have this like order block is, I guess, what the technical name for it is, right? And you see how price came up and created a support at that level. This is a very important level now on the 1 minute time frame. So now I just scoot it over and see what price does when we get to that level. You see how we created the money printer play right here and price came down, tapped that level to the T. That's what I noticed when I took this buy here. The money printer tapped that level. So I know that this level is very, very important. Why? Because price froze here on the way down and then it created a support here on the way up. If it wasn't important, why are these levels so accurate like this, right? Why for the fall these 3 minutes here, price closed perfectly to the T here? Why did it create an order block right at this level here? So that's what I took into account for buys to the upside, right? And now to continue to take buys now, you have too much chop here to see any clean drives up, because if you take a buy here, you can have a rejection here. If you take a sell here, you can have you have this level here, you have a level here, right? So this level is strong because price comes up, formed the same exact thing. You see this like order block section here, price comes up, creates a support at this level and drives up. And now over here, price is respecting this level as a support and it's driven off of it in the past. So now you have too much data telling you we can drive up from here, we can drive down from here, we can drive up from here, we can drive down from here. So I don't want to be in a trade in this level here right now, right? I want to wait till we break out of these levels in order to take a trade, because if you take a buy stop on the flip of this 15-minute candle here, you have a resistance right here that you could reject off of. And I mean, yeah, that's pretty, I mean, that's only 6 pips. So now our range has become a lot smaller and there's a lot less probability of things to play out. So the 4 hour is still bearish, the 1 hour is still bearish, and if we let's look at XAU so you guys can, so I can see what you guys are seeing. Right, so our 4 hour, after closing below, we're starting to flip on the 4 hour. We're starting to come down. So we've rejected and created a nice top wick on the 4 hour. So we really have to be careful. We have a lot of wicks here, a lot of rejection off this level here. So we have to make sure that we're not going to get caught in one of these massive push downs before the rejection up. Because we've already seen price try to drive down and fill this range and fail to do so within these recent days. This is November 24th and we are on the 5th, so that's about 10 days ago. It tried, failed, tried again a few days later, failed, tried again a few days later, failed. Right now is the first time that we've closed below, so we have to ensure that this is not a fake out and that it is the proper drive down, because if this is a fake out, this is gonna push up fucking 160 pips to create a nice top wick for the daily. So that's what we have to confirm now. So you're saying a double bottom would be nice. If we would have came down and created a double bottom here, I would have attempted multiple times to enter some buys here, and then I would have just had to manage risk properly. Because the fact that we finally closed below, but see, right now we're starting to wedge. Right now, price is starting to consolidate. So if you're a pattern trader, I like to paint everybody's strategy out a little bit, because it really points out to the fact that we're all trading pretty fucking similar, right? So if you're a pattern trader, right, and you have your wedge forming here, you're at a resistance, and if you break up to the upside, you would likely want to take buys, right? That makes sense. So if this trend line right here that we've broken out from, we've broken out of the trend line already, we've retested the trend line. If you do get a break out of that trend line, it'll also be a break out of the wedge, which would indicate being bullish. You know what I mean? You guys would take buys. If that we do get that breakout, we're gonna get that scoop on the 5-minute, which is the bougie scoop. So you see how all of these strategies are all showing the same thing. The wedge here, breakout to the upside, you would take buys. The trend line breakout, which is the same thing as the wedge forming right here, you would take buys. The scoop here on the 5-minute, if we do break to the upside here, we would be taking buys. And now if we do break to the upside here, right, that means that we would be having a 5-minute closure up above this 15-minute resistance, which means that we can likely be taking buys to continue up now. The 15 would look like it's starting to come down on the SMA. Maybe we'll get a scoop on it. So let's see here. Both can be very, very, very. So that's why we have to be strategic with the way that we enter, because we still have resistance here. We have no closures above this resistance on the higher time frame. This is a 4-hour resistance, a 4-hour support that used to be a previous resistance, right? So we are now confirming that it's turning it into a resistance. We have now created a lower high, so we have to be very wary. Sells look a little bit better. This could be the money printer play showing up right now, but we have 3 minutes left for this 30-minute closure, and this 30-minute would be closing bullish, which would be confirming a support being formed here. This 15-minute, if it does drive, we would be closing a 5-minute outside of the 15-minute outside of the range here, the 5-minute outside of the most recent range. So we are getting some bullish momentum when sells look a little bit better. So gotta be careful. Careful. I would like my stop loss to be at this level, right? We've already attempted to drive, we faked out. We've already had a second drive and we faked out. So if we can get some sort of entry for sells here, we're starting to scoop the other way on the 5-minute. If we can get some sort of entry for sells here, man, we can have a stop loss up there, which would be about a 40-50 pip stop loss, which is perfect. I tried making some sourdough, but I don't have patience to do the starter. So I just make some regular bread, the yeast, the flour, the sugar, the salt. You mold it all together, and then I put it in my fridge when I get home from work, like around 5, and like around 11, I take it out of the fridge, and then I let it sit overnight. So when I wake up in the morning, that shit's fucking huge, and then I can make a decent loaf of bread. I made my own bread for like a month straight. One minute. One minute. And this is going to be a 30-minute closure. And if this 30-minute closes with no top wick, creating the money printer play on the 30-minute, we're going to be having possibly the money printer play on the 15, on the 5-minute. If we can get any kind of top wick into these areas, a sell down would be very clean. Yeah, my first time I made a bread so fucking hard that my mom laughed at me. I thought I did good, and I showed my mom, and she was like, she was laughing so fucking loud, and she was like, you can hear how hard that is. And I'm like, no, but the inside was soft. And she's like, yeah, but the outside was so hard. 10 bucks says you'll get to resistance. Man, now that we've closed on this 30-minute, and if we do get to resistance and then we start to flip bearish, that'd be clean. We're scooping here. We're still scooping here. This is ugly. This wick needs to be higher, anywhere above this, for me to take a sell down here as a rejection. But this 30-minute closed. We barely have a top wick. I barely have a bottom wick. Did my live stop? Nope. Those of you that know the money printer know why I'm waiting for a little bit of a higher wick. I mean, you could have waited. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you guys determine your top wicks for the money printer, but I don't determine them this tiny unless yeah, because now we're getting the money printer the opposite way. So, yeah, no. I don't like. Yeah, I see that. Let's go off these wicks here. I see. I hate chop like this. I prefer trading this push down like this. And then if we do start breaking into this push, I would like to... I mean, some buys here would be good, but we still have a very high chance of price coming up, rejecting this level here, and then coming down to be that 4-hour top wick, the 1-hour top wick, the 30-minute flip bearish, creating a resistance here. So that would be the lower high on the 30-minute, the lower high on the 15-minute after a fake out, because the 15-minute close with barely a top wick on the outside. So this could just be a fake out. So taking buys here, I'm going to keep waiting. And if it hits 10 o'clock and nothing is setting up for me, so look, we're coming up to this 15-minute SMA. Where's my daily SMA? Now, my daily is very high. My daily 10 SMA is still all the way up here. So let's see. Yeah, it is. It might be. It is coming up to that resistance. I need bottom wicks though. Bottom wicks. I need wicks. If I don't have these wicks, I can't take these entries. These wicks are very, very important, man. They're very, very important. Nick, if you're in the chat, what's the indicator that tells you the probability of the candles closing with no top or no bottom wicks? And then you can give it a range, and I think it's like 6 or 7 pips, right? And if you give it a range of 6 or 7 pips, you will see that there is a 95% chance that every candle will have a top or bottom wick. So if you have a candle that closes with no bottom wick or no top wick, you can bet your ass within the next couple of candles, the price is going to come down to create a wick for that candle. What happened here? No bottom wick, the next candle came down and we started grabbing orders there. No bottom wick, then the candles came down and started grabbing orders. No bottom wick, the candle came down and grabbed orders for it. We have no bottom wick here. You can bet your ass at some point price is going to reject, come down, grab an order for this no bottom wick, and then drive up. Probably won't always happen, but there is a 90% chance that it happens. So that's when you have to anticipate, okay, we're starting to have these no bottom wicks. Cool. We haven't filled them yet, which means we have a high chance of coming down to fill them. So if that's the case, how can we catch that? Or how can we use that to our advantage when we're taking buys? See, we can't be respecting these minor resistances for my setup to work, right? When we're scooping on the SMAs and we're riding the SMAs up, and I take my bullish setup, which is this right here, it has to be above these resistances into some clean range. So it has to be above these levels into some clean range like it was here. These are all clean setups. On the 1 minute, I could have rinsed and repeat. Took in a buy stop here, boom. Took in a buy stop here, boom. Took in a buy stop here, boom. Set a buy stop here, it wouldn't have been activated, and then I would have known the reversal is starting to happen. But because we didn't have any wicks on the higher time frame, that deterred me from taking my buy setup here. But this is exactly what my buy setup is. We hit the support, price drives up, we create a resistance, we create a new higher low, and now price is respecting the low and coming up to break the high. So you set a buy stop on the break of these highs here. What happens when price breaks those highs after respecting this and riding the SMA? You're going to get a little push of momentum. So that push would have gave us 15 pips. I would have closed the trade there. Boom. Waited for the next pullback. You would have gotten a pullback back to the same entry, and then you would have taken another buy stop on the flip, and you look, they're all volume candles. Every time that you pull back and create a support where the previous resistance was, and you push, you have a volume candle. You can see that it's the volume candle. The push that breaks us out is the volume candle. The push that breaks us out is the volume candle. You see this candle, the 1 minute candle, how it has a massive bottom wick. This push that took us out was the volume candle. The push that took us out was the volume candle. So that's how I try to take my trades. I want to catch this volume. I want to scalp this volume. I don't want to be in this bullshit chop. I want to be in that volume candle. If you guys can drop a like, that would be amazing. I appreciate every single one of you. If we start flipping bearish here, yeah, so this is where, yeah, you're right, Screaming Electron, 100% right. So this is where we're going to determine if this is going to be where we turn support turns into resistance. We have a 4-hour support here that we've turned it into a minor resistance. Are we going to confirm this as a resistance, as a 1-hour top wick, as a 4-hour top wick for a continuation to the downside after closing below on the 4-hour? So now that we've closed below on the 4-hour, and we've already rejected this level once, and now we're coming up to it again for the second time without having any orders down here being filled, that's perfect reasoning right there. So that's the kind of reasoning that you need to have when you're looking for your setup. So just because you had the wedge, just because you had the trendline breakout doesn't make it a high probability trade, right? You have to take into account market context, because if you're bearish on the 4-hour, your 4-hour is starting to have a minor reversal, that's not enough to take buys. This is not enough of a 1-hour support to take buys. This 30-minute might be enough now that we've closed above. So now we have to see, are we going to respect this level as a resistance, or are we going to break through it? So as someone who would have been a swing trader, my entry here on this impulse leg up with my stop loss on the daily low would have still been valid. So that's something that I'm looking at, right? So let's go to, this is the new trading journal that I'm doing. I have to input my trades for today. So this is a from Don Vo. He sent everybody out this so you have your analysis page, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3. I have a 50% win rate. I only have 2 trades set up in here. So I have my gold and my NAS. My starting balance is 50,000. My detailed analysis of all my trades. So it's going to tell me my sessions, my entries. It's going to tell me what my highest probability entry type is. It's going to tell me my trades taken, my win rate, my average wins on pips, my average losses, most commonly seen price action scenario, average price, average max pips and drawdown. Right? So you fill out all this information here. The time, the trade that you took, the pineapple, the entry, the fake out, the 5-minute setup, the breakout of the current higher low, but your stop loss was on the daily. My TP was off the 1 minute. My break even point was the logical stop loss or resistance. My BE point here was the wick fill. My managing time frame was the 5-minute time frame. What time frames aligned? Look, this was a loss, but my daily, my 4-hour, my 1-hour, my 30-minute, all of this aligned. But what happened? I had my stop loss based off my the 1-hour level instead of having it based off the daily where I won. So instead of having my stop loss based off the daily time frame, that's one thing that I noticed. When I have my stop loss based off the daily time frame, I win more of my trades than when I have my stop loss based off the lower time frame. So okay, we're getting that push. We're getting that push. So with that being said, I mark these things down because in the journal it's going to tell me, right, now that I took this break even trade, one of the very last options in the journal, it says what was the final outcome of the trade? Did it run to TP or did it hit stop loss? So I will know, hey, if I'm managing off the 5-minute time frame, 90% of the time my trades are hitting TP when I manage off the 5-minute time frame. So maybe I can back off on the managing of risk on the 5-minute time frame because my data is telling me that the 5-minute time frame for my current strategy is not strong enough to manage or use as a break-even point, that I'm much better off holding the trade till full TP or close to full TP, and that's something that my data will tell me over the long run. And I had that data on Forex and then I had it on futures. So all right, let's see. The fact that we no top wick here, no bottom wick here, we came up, we tapped this level. The 30-minute looks clean. The 15-minute looks clean. The 5-minute doesn't look clean, and the 1-minute doesn't look clean. The 1-minute does look clean. So the only thing that's off right now is the 5-minute for buys for me. So we have to smash this level. And then we need to start getting my setup. We need to see here. Are we going to double top here? Make equal highs? Because right now we're at equal highs. Are we scooping? We're not scooping on the 15 yet. We've tapped that on the 15. So I would like to see more of a scoop. Let's see. Honestly, bro, that's going to stop me from taking that many trades. It's going to force me to only wait for the higher probability trades. Because now I have to spend 20 minutes after stream logging my loss and my pineapple from this morning and then logging this trade here. And if I don't do that, then I'm not being true to myself and my analysis, and that's not good. A rebreak of the high here would have been good if we had more wicks on these 5 minutes. Then all of the time frames would have been aligning perfectly. So we have 2 minutes left for this 15 closure. We had our first 15-minute closure outside of the range. Let's get, I mean, if we do get a pullback here, we would be confirming this 4-hour level. So let's see. RR. I don't trade for RR, but 6%. And that's with trailing drawdown on Apex and Top Step. So the total drawdown is probably like a 1-to-1, or maybe like my RR is a little bit negative, a little bit under a 1-to-1. So I do see a little bit more drawdown than wins, but yeah, being in futures and having the trailing drawdown on these funded accounts, it really helps me raise my RR Whereas before I had a higher win rate but a lower RR, and now my win rate's a little bit lower but I have a higher RR, which is cleaner. It's better for me. So we just had a 15-minute closure. The 15-minute close outside of the range, the 5-minute close outside of the range. We have no bottom wick here though, but we're starting to push out with momentum. We're starting to push out with momentum. So if we can get some sort of bottom wick and then a rebreak of the high, I can take some buys. And then it's very tough though. We've respected this level. Let's be safe here. I'd rather miss the move than contemplate these entries. So like for example, I'll give you an example. If you look at the last few streams, you see how I caught this volume candle right here? My trades aren't gonna last very long. So when I am in drawdown, I'm looking to manage risk and get out, because my trade idea has to be instant within the first few minutes. If it's not, my idea is incorrect and I now have to look to manage risk and get out. You know what I mean? So I'm scalping the volume pushes. So that's what I'm looking for. And then with scalping the volume pushes, I'm perfecting my entries and perfecting my entry types, right? So the more perfect my entries get, or the more data I have on my entries where I see, okay, I scalped 10 pips on this trade, but what was the outcome of the trade? So I know that, hey, when I'm taking this kind of setup, I have a high probability of winning. So this setup right here never came back to stop loss. It came back to my entry, but never came back to my stop loss. So this data will tell me, hey, when you're taking this setup, maybe don't go break even on the first push up. Wait for the second leg up and then go break even. Hey, I appreciate you, brother. Your name is going to be up here on the screaming electron if you sub right now. It'll probably change your name. A rebreak of the high here might not be bad. Come down to here. And then flip bullish. Yeah, but you really want to have as much data as you can so that you know, right? Because let's say you took a loss, like I did this morning where I took a loss. I had two options for my stop loss. I had option 1 or option 2. I noticed that option 1, my stop loss was at 80 pips, and option 2, my stop loss was at 50 pips. So I was like, my normal stop loss is 50 pips, but option 1 looks way cleaner. It looks like the trade. It looks like it should be the stop loss, but I can't have a stop loss that big. So instead of me lowering my risk to accommodate for the trade size, for the stop loss size, I used the same risk and I just used a lower probability stop loss, right? So the better stop loss would have been above these highs, but I chose this high here. So my trade got wicked out, boom. So let's say you have these two highs here, right? You have this high here and this high here. I decided to use this as my stop loss instead of using this as my stop loss, right? So right now you see how price rejected here and is starting to drive down. I would have had my stop loss above this area. I would have survived and I would have been able to take a pineapple out of the trade instead of taking a sell here, getting stopped out here, this, the sell would have been, it was like this. The sell would have been here. I got stopped out for 23 pips, but this pineapple here would have been 37. The pullback would have been to 21. So that's 17 pips minus 23. So that would have been 6 pips that I would have seen negative on this trade. But see, the better stop loss would have been the break of the highs here instead of the most recent break of the highs. I was like, oh, this is going to be the lower high. The next one is going to be the equal high or the lower high to come down. So I didn't anticipate price to come up this high. So that's something that my data is going to tell me now. So at the very end of my journal, it tells me, yo, this loss that you took this morning, price drove in your direction after tapping your stop loss. Your stop loss was at 50 pips. So you could have lowered your risk and took in a higher entry. Hey, Screaming Electron, your name's up there now. Yeah, man, you have to be very, very data driven when it comes to this kind of stuff. And even if the entries and what I'm saying doesn't make sense to you, at least journal what you see. And so we've had a closure up here. We've formed a resistance, but now we're forming a celery on our way up. Is this going to be the push up? Are we going to start trending now on the 5-minute? We have a few minutes left for the hourly closure, and the hourly doesn't have a bottom wick yet or a top wick, and 9 minutes left. So this is where these probabilities start to give me ideas, right? So the hourly needs a top wick and it needs a bottom wick 90% of the time. I'm trading gold right now, brother. Right? Exactly, Terpy. So this is where I'm getting at. So the hourly needs a top wick and the hourly needs a bottom wick. So in order for you to be bullish, you need to leave a top wick on the hourly and you need to come down and grab a bottom wick for this hourly. So in order for you to be bullish, to grab a top wick for the daily, right? In order for that drive to happen, you need to have a retest of these lows to grab a bottom wick for that hourly, unless you just have this massive fucking volume push, right? So you need to have a retest of the lows in order to get that push up. So knowing that you're at a major support, and if price were to drive up, it needs that pullback first. How can you take sells? You're anticipating a pullback. You're anticipating price coming down to retest the lows before driving up. So you know what it needs to do before the push up, so you can anticipate sells and you can anticipate taking some sells. Unless price starts to come up here and push hard as fuck above these highs, then I would be looking for buys because we would be getting the same thing that happened here, right? So that's something you have to look out for. So we have to determine if this hourly close is gonna give us a top wick. So it needs to pull back now, giving us a top wick on the hourly. If it keeps driving, then that'll mean that we just have way too much volume pushing us to the upside, reversing this move. So knowing that you need that bottom wick to grab liquidity before a continuation up. Knowing that you need price to pull back, leaving you a top wick for you to fill. Without that top wick for you to fill, there's no more range for a continuation up. So knowing that, you know that, hey, maybe we can take some sells here at this level. But we're starting to form support at this level, which that's where all those ideas start to come into line. And you have to start to take everything into account. You have 5 confluences and then one thing that throws you off. We have all these confluences telling us we need to come down, and then we have the 1 minute here forming support, trying to push up to the upside, right? Trying to do the same thing that it did here. But we're still rejecting it. So that's something we have to be careful with. Knowing that we're rejecting it, knowing that we need that bottom wick, knowing that we need that pullback, knowing that we're at a level of resistance on the 15-minute time frame and the 4-hour time frame, knowing this is a 4-hour level, we could take some sells off this level here possibly. And buys at the same, like literally both can play out. And technically, this bottom wick should be the stop loss for buys. which means I would need it to be pushing and trending above the 1 minute like this for me to take buys with a stop loss this fucking huge. So let's see what we do here. Let's see what we do. I was contemplating some buy stops here, but it's not forming clean enough. Man, if I used to trade off the 15, 30 minute and not look at the 5 minute, I could have had a nice dub here. But then I would have gotten probably fucked on some sells here. Let's see what happens here. So we just had the money printer kind of set up here. But we have 4 minutes left for this hourly. See, if this was like in the middle of a 15-minute candle, 15 minutes before the hourly closed, you know, the last 15 minutes of the candle, that's also another devious theory that I learned, that the last 15 minutes or the last quarter of every candle usually pulls back, giving you that top wick. Beautiful. 52 pips tonight, bro. I'm up 0. 52 pips. That would be a beautiful night. That'd be a $100 night on the PA.
Well, let me tell you, Eddie. I've been listening to you. Everything that you were saying, you weren't taking positions, but I was, based on what you were saying, I was looking at the conference and I took the position. And then that's how I was able to make money. So it's thanks to track that.
Hell yeah. Yeah, for me, like literally 90% of my confluences are adding up except for these tiny little wicks that I'm not getting. So for me, even though that makes the trade still mostly valid, I'm trying to be very strategic with this with the PA. I'm trying to get a payout, and I'm trying to record it all on stream too. So that'd be dope if I can do that on stream. Doing it in secret is one thing, and sending screenshots, but doing it live on stream, that's dope. But I just gotta be just like yesterday, the other stream where I took a 50 pip loss. I got wicked out by 1 hair, and then I made it all back on stream. The very last trade, I know you guys don't trade Nasdaq, but I took the, when I said I was dipping, I came back on stream and I took my entry on the Nasdaq, and within 20 minutes it hit TP, and that made me back the 50 pips plus 13 or plus 3 pips, something like that. I gotta see what my screenshot said. I was down 13 pips. I made 20 pips on that, so I finished the night off 7 pips in profit. I finished the night off 7 pips in profit. I made 20 pips on that. I made on the evaluation that I passed, I was down 100 for the night, which on a 2 lot is 5 pips. Sorry, I was down 5 pips for the night. I was down 100, so on a 2 lot that's 5 pips, and then I made 400 on the next trade, which is 20 pips. So I finished the night off 15 pips in profit. And then yeah, because it showed 300 profit on the screenshot, and I was down 100 for the night, and then that's what passed the account. Now that makes sense. Yeah, it's hard to calculate. I have screenshots, so I have to go back and update the screen record and add like 5 pips because I didn't add the 13 pip loss, or sorry, I didn't add the break evens and the win. Yeah, one thing's for sure, I'm working on holding my trades for longer and being a little bit more of like a 5, 10, 15, 20 minute holding instead of like a quick boom, break even, enter, because this trade would have been beautiful if I would have stayed in. But that's the thing, that according to my entry, this should have been the drive. We shouldn't have had a second pullback to retest, right? After this drive up and coming down to wick these lows, the flip bullish, this should have been the drive. The second pullback shouldn't have happened. according to the way that I trade, usually that's the drive. And then I could have probably taken a re-entry here, and that's what I was looking for. I was looking for a re-entry. Very badly, I was looking for a re-entry. You gotta zoom, you gotta scroll back an hour, bro, to catch this. Now, last week, bro, the 2 Asian sessions that I did, and then the Monday that I did, was like non-stop trading. I had a trade every hour. I had 3 trades. I think I had like 4 trades. Hourly closed, no top wick, no bottom wick. 30-minute no top wick. 15-minute no top wick, and we're starting to flip bearish. Give me the money printer, buddy boy. Print the money printer. What are we gonna do here? This is ugly fucking price action, bro. How can you take a trade with that 30-minute like that? With the hourly like that? With an opening like that? With a 15-minute like that? This is the only thing that looks anything remotely clean. And this. $94 fucking pips. Holy shit. See if we can get a setup here. So my 4-hour closed, respecting here. 4-hour closed just below here, but respecting all these levels here. No, we actually closed below too. So we still closed below all the levels. No bottom wick here. No top wick here. Where can we sell off of? What do we have here? We have these wicks here. Yeah, these levels are aligning with some wicks. So we have a lot of levels we could sell off of here. Boom. Have you guys taken anything? See, the same thing I said earlier, right? This push here needed to happen below this level here, which this push here needed to happen above this level here for me to be able to take these valid buys. Trading Mudang shorts? I don't know what that means, brother. Yeah, I'm looking, cause right, if let's say if we disregard wicks and we close above this area, then that means price is closed into back into range, and we need to come down to retest these lows for a bottom wick for a push up, right? Which is 20 pips. So if we start to, or 200 Well, how many pips is that? That's 20 pips. 2? Yeah, 20 pips. Hey bro, don't worry. We have a bunch of crypto guys in the comments. Spam your crypto thoughts, and I promise you somebody will reply in the comments. So, hourly no top wick. This hourly has came up. We're starting to create a range above this previous hourly no bottom wick, right? We've closed above. We're starting to create a range. All right. Is this going to be one of those continuations to the upside? We're starting to ride here on the 1 minute. We're having a scoop here. What's this 5 minute doing? The 5 minute is still scooping. I'm gonna have a buy stop on the rebreak of the high. How much range do I have here? 30 pips, 12 pips. I would likely have my stop loss below here if we do get activated. For like 30 pips. What do you guys think of the Haktua play? I was looking at how their interview and how they structured their rug pull. And bro, these people are so strategic, dude. So she had her dev team, right? They pre-sold the coins to scalpers or to private investors, as you would say, right? 90% of the coins were sold on the pre-sale, which means the public only had access to a small portion of coins, right? They're all a fake number of coins that they invent themselves. Ridiculous shit. She then said, in order to counteract the scalpers selling all of their stuff, we're going to implement high transaction fees. So that way, if they were to sell, they would get hit with a big transaction fee. Haktua made $2 million in transaction fees. Right? With a total liquidity in their fucking pool of like a couple million under what they made in transaction fees. So I guess people were paying more in transaction fees than what was in actual liquidity in their pool. We're activated here. So there was actually more liquidity than what was in their pool. And then all the scalpers sold 50% of their, so 50% of the pre-market holders sold 100% of their bag, and then the final 50% of the people sold 50% of their bag, so 75% of the total supply was gone and sold. Haktua didn't make any money off the coin itself. So technically, she isn't liable for the coin dropping. Her money was made in transaction fees, and she's technically legally safe. She's technically legally safe because she implemented a safety net with the transaction fees in order to prevent the scalpers and the pre-sale of the coins to be sold, because the pre-sale, I guess, is legal, but the pre-sale is for to bring more recognition and to have liquidity in the actual coin, so that you know what I'm saying. So to her, she can tell the government, no, I sold these coins so that we can have liquidity in there, to have some sort of backing, financial backing. I made these fees so that these people wouldn't be able to sell their coins on time, and if they do sell, it would cost them a bunch of money to make it harder for them to sell. So she's technically I'm closing full here at 16 pips. You asked me to trade, Bougie. There we go, brother. A 35-second trade of me yapping, 15 pips, and I'm gonna call it there for the night. What did I say, my dudes? Right, but it's literally easily proven, bro. She sold. No, I didn't close for runners because I'm only holding 2 micros. Since I'm only holding 2 micros, that's 50% of my profit that I'm leaving on the table if I do go back to break even. So until I upsize, I'm not going to leave a runner. This level right here is the level where price could reject from, which is the level where we started pushing down from earlier. So this is our turning point, the same turning point we had right here. You see how we broke above it and we started to have a continuation? That's where I took advantage and I took the trade. You see how the setup, the exact same setup I take every time on stream, right? Price takes a drive on the 1 minute, we pull back, we're driving on the 1 minute SMA, we have that rebreak of the high, and we have the push. The same yapping I was talking about earlier with the rebreak of the high here, the rebreak of the high here, the rebreak of the high here, that Japanese turned into some money tonight. Hell yeah. And I mean, it probably is going to likely keep driving. I got slipped a little bit on my entry there. So usually when you get slipped on your entry, the pullback is a lot of the times right to your entry for a continuation to the upside. So that's why I close full there, and then I continue monitoring to see if we do come back to my entry and then flip and re-break the highs. I can just keep rinsing and repeating the buys, rinsing and repeating the buys, rinsing and repeating the buys, rinsing and repeating all the way till you see we came down, we formed support. Now it's time to set your buy stop. You set the buy stop, price never activates, telling you, all right, the trend is over. And you see here where you would activate your buy stop, it comes down. So, I mean, another rebreak of the high here is difficult because of this level here. So I would like to see price come up, reject, and break above. The same thing we did here. We broke above the level. We broke above, came down, retested, broke out. Broke above, came down, didn't quite retest it, but we retested the previous high that we made here, and we drove up, riding the 1 minute SMA. 83 pips for the night. Hell yeah, Jay. Fucking hell yeah. In front of 37 people too. That's a banger. My Instagram is kind of taken down right now because I talk a lot of shit, but I'll be back. I do not have a Discord, brother. I do not have a Discord, and I don't do any mentorships or anything like that, but I do live stream, and I live stream like 3-4 days a week. Banger on stream. I do not live stream. I do not mentor or anything like that, brother. But I do live stream, so you can come here every single day. If you would have sat here tonight was a little mini course. I spoke about how we could have rejected off this level. I spoke about how this level could have been a 4-hour high. I spoke about why I took these buys here. I spoke about how I could have took buys here off the 1 minute, and then I waited for the setup to form. I waited all night. Well, how long has this stream been, dude? This stream has been going on for quite a bit. I can't even tell the time on here. 2 hours and 30 minutes. I had a break-even trade here. I let it go break-even. I was up 20 pips on this trade, so I could have closed plus 20 pips here, plus 15 pips here, would be plus 35 pips for the night. I lost 50 pips in the morning, so I would have been almost break-even for the day. Yes, check out Wix9. This is my mentor. This is my mentor. Look up Wix9 on YouTube. Yes, futures, but futures and gold is the same shit. Watch. Pay attention. You see this trade here? Let's look at the gold chart. Same fucking trade. Price pulls back. It's riding the 10 SMA. Rebreak of the high. Same trade. Look at my levels here. Look at my levels here. Same movement. Same thing. Look. Same. Look at that. You can't even tell the difference. So, look. But yeah, everybody, I'm going to call it for the night here. But see, bro, I trade gold and I trade the Nasdaq. If you look at yesterday's stream or the day before stream, I don't have the Nasdaq on here pulled up yet, but I trade the Nasdaq as well. Nas 100. Hey, bro, if we dump, the dump would be right now. If we dump, the dump would be right now. Pay attention to this dump. We're closing with no top wicks. We're having no top wicks. We are back in range. So pay attention. If we come up to re-break the daily high, it might just be for a continuation down. So just be careful. Be careful with this level here. Because this level is a support turned to resistance. Pay attention to that. Support turned to resistance, that we're now reaching it again. Are we going to respect this as a resistance, or are we going to turn it into support, which is what we did here? Are we going to respect this as a resistance, or are we going to turn it into a support? We confirmed that we turned it into a support. We waited for the proper confirmation. And what happened as soon as our buy stop got entered, bro? We saw like 4 pips of drawdown. And then we saw a full 29 pip move. And I closed at 15. But have a wonderful day, everybody. See, look, you can rinse and repeat this move, bro. Rinse and repeat. It's just, if this was clean traffic here, I would be rinsing and repeating. This is just not clean traffic right here. But have a good night, everybody. I hope you guys understood what I was talking about today and understood the importance of having patience and knowing when you're in a choppy range and when you want to get out of a choppy range. This range was fucking choppy. We gave it one attempt, and then after we started creating more chop, it completely made everything else irrelevant. We waited for the breakout of the range, and we took the proper entry out of the range in clean traffic. So we found the clean traffic here. We took the clean traffic here. That, look at this mimic, bro. Perfect mimic of the move. That's beautiful, bro. DVS in fucking action, bro. What we learned from DVS, putting it into fucking play, bro. Have a wonderful night, everybody. I appreciate every single one of you for showing up. Drop a like. From Maryland, brother. I'm from Florida. As my mentor says, right near the beach, boy. The only thing that I'm going to be doing starting next year, I'm going to be doing the Zoom memberships for people that aren't in the clubhouse. And then that'll be like $20 a month, and you'll be able to be in the Zoom with me an hour before stream. And the days that I'm not streaming, I'll have Zoom open, and you'll be able to see me trading when I don't have Zoom open. But that's going to be starting next year. I'm not doing that now. I got to get PayPal set up and all that bullshit. But everybody in the clubhouse gets the free shit. So if you want the free shit, join the clubhouse on the Wix9 Discord. Join the Market Mechanic Market link. Market Mechanic is on our boy from DVS as well. We also trade live. I see there's a few new people here, so check him out. He's trading tomorrow. No, tomorrow's Friday. There's no trade tomorrow. This is the last stream of the week actually. But what's it called? He trades Mondays, Tuesdays, and I trade Wednesdays and Thursdays, I believe now. So he's doing a 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. stream 2 days a week. So he's doing a 4-hour session. So make sure you drop a fucking like. He's drawing a 4-hour session for you guys, teaching you how. Look, this was his setup right here. This was, I don't know if he's trading tonight, but this looks to me like it was his setup, right? We had the breakout right here of the trend line, breakout, the retest, and then the buys with the volume candle push, stop loss on the daily break of the lows. This looks like a market mechanic play. And look at that push, bro. Look at that push. Rinsing and repeating. You could have rinsed and repeat this move, but I'm tired, bro. And the daily's about to flip. There's so much action left for tonight, but I'm so tired, dude. I gotta go to fucking bed. I'm dead, gang. I've yapped enough for tonight. My Japanese is over. Have a wonderful night, everybody. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Drop a like. Take it easy, brothers and sisters. W Yap. My Yap explained these buys here, why I couldn't take them, and why I took this trade. And look at what happened. As soon as we waited all fucking night, 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 37 minutes, we caught the best possible move for the night. This was the best possible move besides this push down. This was the best possible move besides this push down. This was also a good push up. This was also a good push up. But I couldn't catch anything here. But we literally had yap, trash, 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 trash. Beautiful. Take it easy, gang.
Thanks again, Eddie. Have a go and get some sleep, bro. Yeah, get up on it, my brother. Take it easy.